We want to start with the vaccine story. You got just over 14,000 from the COVAX program. Romania also lent you another 20,000, but this is going to be far short of what you need for more than 4 million people in your country. What's the plan to vaccinate your people?
Indeed, we are very grateful for the donations that we have been receiving from Romania and through the COVAX platform, but that's not going to be enough. And it's very challenging for a small and developing country to be able to secure the contracts. It's not only the issue of money, because, of course, the pandemics is a priority. I mean, fixing the issues is a priority, and we can find the money, but it's extremely difficult to secure the contracts. And you can see that this is an issue even for stronger countries. So we are hoping that we will get more support from the EU, as we have been getting the support, but also from the rest of the world, so that everyone could get the vaccine in time.
President, good morning. It's Maia Sandu in Dubai. Will you get substantial more help from Russia? Are you in talks with them about delivering vaccine to you, or will it be the EU that will be the prime deliverer of vaccine to you?
Well, as I said, we have been talking also to the companies which produce the vaccine, and our authority has registered one of the Russian vaccine recently. We want to have the chance to have more types of vaccines for the people to choose. But as of now, as I said, the urge is to secure as many vaccines as possible and to have the choice for the people. We do, of course, count a lot on the EU support, and the EU institutions have been making efforts to secure the vaccine, including for the Eastern Partnership countries.
Could you do what other non-EU Balkan countries did and turn to Russia? How do you see this relationship between Brussels and Moscow developing under your presidency?
Well, we all see the worrisome developments, and of course this makes it more difficult for us in the region. But we want to have peace, and we want to have stability in the region, and we are trying to have good relations with everyone around.
To do that, you need effective government, and you still don't have a full, powerful government in place. Will you force early elections?
Well, this is about the internal reforms, and this is about fighting corruption. I did get a very strong mandate from people last November to fight corruption. And even though there is very strong support from people to fight corruption, unfortunately, not everyone in the current political class supports this. And I have to say that corruption is the main reason for poverty in my country. Because of corruption, many people are leaving the country. We have 1/3 of the population abroad, and this is the main issue for the country. And that's why I am pushing for snap elections, for snap parliamentary elections, because we do need to have a majority in the parliament which would support the reforms that people are demanding.
There's a risk also to your mandate if there is a referendum to oust you. How do you see, President Sandu, a way out of that situation?
As I said, it's crucial for us to start real justice sector reforms, to clean up the justice sector, to get rid of the corrupt judges and of the corrupt prosecutors, because this is the only way forward for us. The corruption has been undermining our efforts to build a democratic society. So we do need to make changes now. And I do have the popular support, and we will continue to seek the ways to having snap elections, and then to give the chance to people to elect a new parliament, which would reflect its expectations.
President, it is International Women's Day, and I want to get a sense from you. I was reading an article where the UN Deputy Executive Director Anita Bahia said there's a real risk of reverting to the 1950s gender stereotypes. Everything that we've worked for the past 25 years could be lost in a year. Of course, she is referring to the burden of responsibility that falls to women, to people like my mother, to people who are in my family. In other words, they take on so much more of the responsibility for family that the progress for women will be set back. What are you going to do to ensure that 25 years is not eradicated in 1 year?
Well, in Moldova, we do have strong women, and we have proved this over the years, despite all the difficulties. We do have issues, of course. We have problems of violence against women, and this has become an issue, an even tougher issue during the pandemics. And we are trying to help, of course, when you have a weak government undermined because of the corruption. It's difficult to deal with these issues. But as I said, women in Moldova have proved to be very good managers in the private sector, in the public sector, and we will be working hard on these issues. We will be working hard on ensuring equal salary for women and men. We do have important issues to solve, but I'm very optimistic, and I'm actually very encouraged by the fact that Moldovans have voted for a woman in the presidential elections. To me, this is a very good sign.
President Sandu, you faced an onslaught of offensive insults and sexist commentary throughout your entire political career, most notably this last election. And you have to think, when you see this kind of rhetoric in your local papers, if you're a female, you think, oh gosh, that might not be for me. And yet Moldova has very low representation in women in public institutions. Of course, you're one of the standouts, but how do you change that perception and get more women to want to be involved in politics?
Well, by example, when I started my journey as a public person 8 years ago, there were all kinds of speculations, including in the press, about my appointment as the Minister of Education. There was not much discussion about my CV, my experience, my degrees. And of course, this was very disappointing. And I just saw how much you have to work being a woman to prove that you deserve and that you work hard, and this has to be appreciated. But at the same time, things have been changing. As I said, 2 years ago, I led the first government in the country where we had more women than men. We do have more women in parliament. Today, we have very courageous mayor women. And it's difficult for them to campaign. There is still the environment that you've been talking about. But we have to prove that we are strong enough and that none of this harassment, including the online harassment, which has been becoming very tough these days, is going to stop us.